All right.
All right, we will call to order the meeting of the Green Bay Traffic Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission for Monday, August 16th, 2021. Down to item B, roll call. Chairperson Keeper is here. Vice Chairman Theno.
Here.
Alderman Stevens.
Here.
Lieutenant Sobiak. Being excused absence.
Excused absence.
Okay. Melissa Fluke.
Here.
Kasia Huntowski.
Here.
And Patrick Sorrell.
Excused.
Excused again there. Okay. All right. Move on to C, approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve our agenda for Monday, August 16th, 2021?
So moved.
Motion been made.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. I'm assuming, I'm going to read it here. It says September, but it's actually July. Approval of the Monday, July 20th, 2021 Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission meeting minutes. Do I hear?
So moved.
I'll do it as amended.
Okay.
Who seconded?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. E, regular business. Initial request, consideration with possible action on the request by the traffic engineer to add bike lanes to Manitowoc Road, Main Street to South City limits, and Greenbrier Road, Manitowoc Road to Ontario Road. Dave, why don't you start?
Thank you. On the display, you will see a map. What's highlighted in yellow are the streets that we're proposing bike lanes. So as the description and the request says, the one that you would see more on the left part of the screen or west would be Manitowoc Road. So we're looking at connecting it up at Main Street, which is a signalized intersection, and continuing into, and as you can see in that gray area, that's actually going into the Village of Bellevue, and continuing it on into Bellevue until the intersection with the other Manitowoc Road. And Greenbrier, same thing, or we would have, this is all kind of jittery, the entire length between Ontario and Manitowoc. Now again, that's where we have some Village of Bellevue corporate limit sharing, so it's pretty much center line of Greenbrier. So I had forwarded this on to their village administrator, had some discussions with them. Verbally it sounds like they're on board, but they have to do a similar thing like what we're doing tonight, which is get it past committee, get it past commission. These are very typical anytime we have changes in roadway cross-section. And although we're not physically moving curb, we're not actually doing any sort of excavation or construction or anything like that. This is simply painting lines on these roadways. You may recall back probably 5+ years ago, some of you that are on this commission that were voting at that time for West Point Road and South Point Road, for those bike lanes. We have identical width on both of these roads. So the 44 feet clear roadway width, and that's measured from face of curb to face of curb. And as long as we have, actually I think on the second item that I can share on my screen, I should have, where is it? Right here. Does it show up? Well, I think I got to change my viewing options. Under screen share. New share. There we go. There we go. So the pictogram that's on the screen is really what we're proposing out here. So working from the center line out towards the curb, it's really a mirror image in each direction. So you'll have one 10-foot travel lane. As you know, 12-foot lanes are very typical on roadways. What we've been doing is really just saying 12-foot is an acceptable roadway width for something that handles truck traffic. Both of these roads are not truck roads, and it's been, at least it's been something that I've been promoting here at the city for slowing down traffic is basically what a lot of it boils down to, is 10-foot lanes. There's been studies that have proven that there's no safety issues when you start narrowing up those lanes. As a matter of fact, that has a tendency to slow down motor vehicle traffic. And that actually is kind of a, we talked about that with the Alder, where we actually met with some of these neighbors, more on the southern end of the project, that are concerned about speeding on Manitowoc Road. And so at that meeting, that was one of the concepts that was discussed, was about adding these bike lanes. So I conducted a field review shortly thereafter, wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have any bad pavement to be a danger to any of the bicyclists. And as you know, Manitowoc was actually resurfaced. Actually, it was more of a reconstruction, but we left the curb in. That was an ARA project back in, I think it was 2010. So pavement conditions really good on it. And then same thing with Greenbrier. We've got very, very good pavement condition. The only thing that I'll have to get through is getting the approval from DOT to mark it over the structure, over I-43, because that's not ours. So that's where there's a gap in jurisdiction, I guess you'd say. But I've already got my request into DOT, so I'm just looking to get final confirmation from them. And I'm just going to say, worst case scenario, they say no to it. Well, we can always say Sharrow. We can have Sharrows on, or at least share the road signs, warning signs, to go over that. My guess is that they're probably not going to care. I'll work with their safety guy and their traffic and marking people, and hopefully we'll get it all passed. So I don't actually have the mileage on me, but we're looking at a significant number of miles that we'd be adding to our bike lane network for this. Uniquely, neither of these streets are actually listed in the Safe Walk and Bike Plan for bike lanes, so I kind of look at it as more of a bonus. I saw an opportunity, work with the Alder to try hopefully curing some of the speeding issues that we're having out there. We did see some speed reductions on West Point and South Point, so we know it works. It wasn't a significant reduction, but at least we're getting some slower traffic, and then we're adding into the bike facility. So I think that it's kind of a win-win for everyone. So with that, I just really wanted to get everyone's support here on the Traffic, Bike, and Ped Commission. And with a positive motion here, we can forward that then on to council, get final approval. And as I say, I'm kind of working in parallel right now with the Village of Bellevue, and I'm hoping that they're going through the same process now. They know that I am, and as soon as I get their approval, we can do the entire thing. Worst case scenario, if they say no on that, I can always just run it up to whatever the corporate limit is, at least on Manitowoc Road. Greenbrier, we probably would have to wait. I wouldn't paint, just half of the road. We want to have two-way bike traffic. You don't want to just make one-way bike traffic. So we'd probably hold off on that, but the process is moving forward then. But one step at a time, looking for traffic approval for this.
Alder, did you want to speak to this item? Since it's
Not much, just
Go ahead.
Dave handled it. So we had a meeting where there were so many people so upset about the speeding on Manitowoc Road. And I think, if I remember correctly, we were meeting in a driveway, and these people in this immediate area were the ones who were so upset. And isn't it the case that the other side of the road from them is Bellevue?
Yeah, Wordle's Tap.
Yeah, so if we can't get the bike lanes on both sides, it's those people who are the most upset who are going to get only half of what they're asking for. They didn't ask for bike lanes, they asked for help with speeding, and this was, they had ideas, of course, put up stop signs and things like that, and this is what Dave is suggesting. So I'm all for it. I think we should give it a try. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I think it's helped. As Dave mentioned, we've had West Point on the west side that once the markings went up, it doesn't drop drastically, but there's just more awareness of people driving that people would. So I think it's a good idea. Like you said, it's a bonus to the bicyclists and not so much pedestrians, but bicyclists.
Right, and because I live on South Point and I see this every day, what I actually have seen out there as time has progressed, you'll see the more casual bicyclists, the families and kids and things. they'll actually ride in the parking lane, and they kind of use the bike lane as a buffer. So it's almost functioning like a protected bike lane. Because the homes out in that area have, they're wider, longer driveways, and they just really don't have that much parking activity on both roads. So you're seeing a lot of that, but then you'll see more of the expert cyclists, the ones that are out, pounding the miles. They're using the bike lanes, and they're using them just fine. I think one of the other things too that I noticed at first, and it's getting better as people are getting used to them, is motors just kind of being lazy and drifting into that lane. I see that even from time to time. It's just people that are careless, they're on their phones or doing whatever. Part of the whole distracted driving issue that we've been talking about for months now. But hey, something's better than nothing in this case, I think. And like I said, I think the total is like 5 miles. I mean, we're adding, it's crazy. I mean, we're adding some great connections to the I-43 Business Center, over to Main Street, into the Village of Bellevue. I mean, I think that this would be a great opportunity, and I think overall just a win for everybody. And I still think we're going to have to work on the speeding issue. There's no doubt. I mean, this isn't going to be the silver bullet. This is more of a benefit, I think, to the bicycling community than it's going to be to those residents complaining about speeding. But they may see some effects.
I hope so.
I think it'll go both ways. I mean, the research proves that if you make the lanes look smaller, the cars will go slower. So that's exactly what you're saying here, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. The other thing is too, is that once, we'll have the build it and they will come thing. I honestly think, I've seen it, again, anecdotally, because I don't have the actual hard counts on the number of bicyclists before and after, but once you start adding the presence of bicyclists and they start to see this as a good connector and they're like, hey, we got this, then you're effectively putting bicyclists closer and you're creating this conflict for everyone in a way, but it's a good conflict because it ends up you want a busier environment for speeds to actually go down. That's why you see a lot of urban environments and they're constrained that way, and tree canopies and just a lot of things going on. Those all aid into slowing down traffic. You got a big road that looks like a freeway. Of course people are going to drive fast. That's just the human condition. I mean, whether you do it advertently or inadvertently, people, you find yourself speeding. Don't you every once in a while? I don't know how many people have ever driven in a flat desert. Has anyone just driven a car in a flat desert?
North Dakota comes close.
I was out in Lake Havasu City a number of years ago and flew into Las Vegas and drove out there, and it's probably like 3+ hours at least. So desert California, Arizona, and everything. I bought just a budget rental car. Just whatever. And I just assumed it had cruise. It didn't have cruise on it. So I'm just driving this thing down, and it's like a span of you can see 20 miles. Like literally, it's just that flat. And it's like, oh, there's Las Vegas. I caught myself, and don't quote. We're not recording, are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found myself going over 100 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Like I didn't even realize it. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, oh, okay. But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was a subconscious decision that I made. I really didn't think I was speeding just because there was no conflicts at all. Not a rock, not a anything. It was just sand. Me in a freeway and no curves.
Yeah.
That's just what happens.
Yeah.
It's no different in a city. We have a lot more conflicts, but the human creature, we're animals, smart animals, and you're just going to have a tendency to go faster when there's less conflict. Tighten up those lanes, add some bicyclists in there. Hopefully we can get some, I know they don't have sidewalks in a lot of the area, and peds will probably start walking in the parking lane a little bit more comfortably, and you create that atmosphere and it will have a calming effect. So.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I move approval of item 1.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Motion carries. Item 2. To hold for further discussion the request by Alderman Stevens to review and/or create bylaws for the Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission.
I have nothing.
We mentioned this before Dan was here.
We had
guys are
talked
working on
today. In fact,
something
we're gonna get together and
Okay,
start,
all right.
and we're gonna try to get together with you 2 days.
So should we
Put
postpone
something
that
together for the next
or
meeting.
postpone it for tonight?
That's your preference, right?
Is that okay, guys?
What would be the plan then? I know you just said you want to draft some sort of the two of you working together for like a draft and then want
Well,
to
I
bring it to the next
indicated-
meeting or?
Yeah, I think we need, it's not so much bylaws, it's standard operating procedures. It's written procedures of how we operate as a commission. And I think what we need to do is the three of us need to come up with what type of parameters we want to work with in the writing. I can do the writing, I've done stuff like this forever. But I need the ideas to come from everyone. And anyone on the commission, if you want to put something in the procedures, mainly the procedures on how we operate, then we can put something in writing and bring it back to the next commission meeting, hopefully.
Okay.
Do you think you'd have it in a month's time? Or
Well, what do you think?
I would say so.
you want to send it ahead so we can discuss it at the next meeting? Is that,
Yeah, yeah,
So
that'd be a good
postpone it
idea.
next month?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you guys still have all the notes, I believe, from last time? Because we had a good discussion on it when this first came up. About a
Why
lot of
don't you
the
get
different
those to us again?
Yeah, I don't know if I was just improvising off the cuff when I was talking about it or what. Honestly, I don't know if I had anything written down.
Well, it would be in the minutes, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I'm doing the agenda, yeah, we post it.
right. Do you, yeah, I mean, I can get you the minutes if you don't have them, if that's what you're
They're
asking.
published.
Because, yeah, because there should be the rev minutes, meaning the transcript as well.
Yeah, the transcript would have anything.
Right.
You could just listen to the transcript.
Yeah, well, yeah, even the meeting with the videos online, you know, that too. I think the bookmarks will be good on that one, because that's an earlier meeting.
Yep.
So, I don't know, we can have a discussion. I mean, however we need to do it, whatever's easiest for you, but the information's out there.
Okay. Well, if you can get that, then that would be a starting point.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
the three of us can meet and put this thing to bed.
So the new commissioners, we don't have bylaws, so we're trying to make new bylaws for us to follow. So
It makes sense, because even in the car, we were like, okay, do we just answer to we'll just say it, the complaints from the community to the elders, which is kind of what we've seen so far, or business complaints, or can we bring ideas forward and what's the process for that? And so like we were discussing, we don't actually know the process for that. So I think it'd be really helpful to have at least some guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way it historically, just if I can answer your question, is that all committees and commissions, there is what they call a late communication process, and that comes in through the alders. And so let's just say, like, you know, there's a speeding complaint or whatever. The alders will type up something and it goes to the clerk's office. And then that's the formal request to that commission or committee. Because there's a pull down on the request. Well, you've seen them, Alder Gerlach, and I know Craig, you have as well. And I know Celestine's kind of getting very particular about that. I mean, I think that she may have had some handwritten ones, and she's like, no, it's got to go through the process. So there is a form that they have, but that's only the elders that fill that out. So when it comes down to adding agenda items, that's how we get them from the clerk's office. They get emailed to us, we add them to the agenda. Now, something like this was my request. I guess we'd say one of the benefits of being a staff person is, yeah, I have the ability to add things to the agenda, but that's kind of part of my job, you know. I mean, traffic regulations, parking regulations, that all comes through my office. So I have to put these things on there. So it's just part of, you know, I guess you'd say my job duties. So that's in essence how it happens. I mean, if you have ideas that you want to talk about, I mean, you can just give me a call. You can talk to anyone on the commission if you want. And but we'll figure a way to get it on, you know, whether it would be through Craig adding it as an alder. You know, we can talk about it, and I'd be like, yeah, let's bring it up as an item. Then I'll just put it on. You know, everything's a consideration of possible action. You know, there's formality to it, but
it has to
We
be
can
on
get
the
it.
agenda. We can't just
Right.
talk on it. You say, let's talk about this thing. You can't do that. It's got to be,
Yeah, we were just curious if
Agenda
other
item.
than through the alder, because we knew that was a for sure way to get it on,
Right.
but if there was another
you tell
route.
Dave you got something you want to talk about it
Okay.
before the meeting, so you can get it on the agenda so it's published with 24 or no, 70.
We pretty much the week prior to the
Week prior.
meeting, like by Wednesday, we've got a really good idea on what we're gonna do for publishing. for a final agenda. But out of courtesy, in case there are late communications, I like to wait till Friday morning, and then we'll just publish it sometime in the morning.
Well, see, you've already gone through 3 written policies that we need to put in the document.
See, it was a good discussion.
Yeah, you're taking
For
notes.
clarification, a commissioner can request to put something on the agenda.
Yes. If I could make a suggestion?
Certainly.
Because I serve on the Public Arts Commission, and I'm the only alder on that commission, and good Lord, I'm not an artist, so I never bring anything. I just come and
You are
listen.
too. I've
Oh,
seen.
yeah, my leaves, yes, I'm a leaf artist. But, you know, it's the commissioners who bring things, and I'm quite sure that that commissioners, you know, bring things to the agenda, like, what's his name? Kent Hutchinson?
Hutchinson, I'm sure.
I'm
Sure.
sure, I believe last time there was something that he brought to the agenda, so maybe, my suggestion is maybe you want to find out how other commissions operate and maybe learn from, you know, before
Well, we
you
can
make your
learn from
rules.
them, but we also are committed to what is in ordinance right now for the traffic commission, because there are some items stipulated in our city ordinances relative to this committee, or commission, and
Now,
which
I've
is
never
why,
seen
and I'm
those.
coming full circle on this, because this is why we're talking about this. And maybe we do establish a process that, okay, commissioners have the ability to get stuff on the agenda. We don't have that documented. All I'm doing is I'm working off of, or we're all working off the past practice. And every commission is different. Committees, that's a whole different ballgame from commissions, because of the makeup and structure, because you have 4 elected officials on the committees. Commissions, different ballgame. And traffic is kind of on its own that way as the others are. We make up our own rules. It says it right in the ordinances, and that's why, you know, we had come up with some issues in the past, and it's like, that's why I kind of pushed, you know,
Could
to everyone
you
about that
share,
we need
I
to
don't know
formalize
if
this.
Craig needs this, but I have never really gone into the ordinances to know what the procedures are written as for this.
I gave them to you as an attachment on the initial time we had this on there.
The
So the
ordinance
first time
is
this was
very
on
good.
there, I copied the ordinance and said, this is all it says, people. I
Okay,
mean, it says things,
let's get
but
that
it's not
out.
much.
Let's get that out again and then
Yeah.
proceed from there.
Yeah, I mean, what we can do, and take this as a note, when we publish the next agenda, we'll go to the original request and we'll take those attachments and put them in. It's either that or it was in the background. So, you know, how there's a,
No,
on
but
the
I
agenda
mean,
report.
we need to have them shortly now before the next meeting, so we
Right.
can work off of that
Right,
in putting the written policies
yeah,
together.
yeah, it's simple, we'll work
Okay.
together on that.
Okay. Good.
But-
All right, so let's entertain a motion to postpone the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Motion carries. Number 3 through 7, termination notices. Dave, so I'll let you handle them the order which you choose.
Sure. Let me see, number 3, number 4 are connected, 5, 6 are connected, and 7 stands on its own. So, Hillside Lane, Shane Street to 170 feet east of Shane. I believe this is that item that you brought up by the corner.
Right.
And, yeah, everything, to my knowledge, has been working out fine. I think you had actually maybe even followed up with me in a follow-up conversation with me. I think you said it was working out for them.
Nobody has said a word to me of complaint, it's just more parking spaces for the ball field, and that's a good thing.
Right.
Okay.
So that's working right there. So I would recommend items 3, 4, and 5 for adoption. I should say 3 and 4, sorry.
3 and 4.
I'll
And
make that motion for that.
I'm going to have them all at once, or you want to break them up?
I think you'll have probably the same, I'm recommending all of them, and I think that all of them will go through. If you want to make one motion, it'll be simpler. Numbers 5 and 6. This is the 2-hour, removing the 2-hour zone on Van Buren Street from Cherry to Pine. Oh, this was that item that Alder Scannell wanted on. You know what, and this was one that I think that it was doubled up. But you can make the motion to approve it, we would have a duplicate in there. I remember this came forward and then I looked back in the ordinances, I'm like, these guys passed this already, because I sent the signed work order to my side shop, and they're like, it's done already. I'm like, wow, you guys are quick. It's like, no, like we did this like a year or two ago. So the alder forgot about that even happening. He brought it forward, and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. You know, we get a bunch of them, and it just went through. So it's a duplicate. Is what I'm saying.
So we included in the motion then?
You can include it in the motion. It's just a duplicate of something
Alright.
that's existing. So 5 and 6, let's make that recommendation. And then number 7 was actually one item that was not included in the rail yard parking zones. It was just one item that was left off that we needed to get added in there. So that's just a 2-hour parking zone. Both sides of the down driveway from 1.285 feet north of Kellogg Street to 1.440 north of Kellogg Street. We have very limited amount of regulated parking on that, just by the way that the roadway was configured. And this happens to be that 2-hour zone. So, like I said, it was just left off the last agenda, looking for that as an approval. So I make a recommendation to adopt by ordinance all E1 through E7.
I'll make that a motion.
Motion been made, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Okay.
Motion carries, informational. Anything else we need to talk about tonight?
Do we want to talk about hybrid in person, since we're all here and we had these issues? I'm going to throw out the possibility that if the Delta variant doesn't get under control, or at least the way it's being handled, that we may be looking at going back to virtual. So I'm just putting the reality out there. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm just seeing tide on the way it's going just nationally. So I'm just going to throw that out there, that we potentially could be back to Zoom. But
Well, you gonna get the system working?
yeah, no, maybe that is a reason. Delta here, stay. No, just kidding. No, I mean, I'm sure that this will get all worked out.
Do we know what happened tonight? Because my screen went dead.
Has it worked before in here like that?
Yeah.
We
No,
haven't been here in how long?
actually, we are the first committee/commission to go hybrid. There's been 2 council meetings, I understand. The first one, hybrid, had similar issues, I heard,
Yes.
but it got resolved for the second time around.
So it is possible.
So it's, yeah, so it's
Okay.
possible. Yeah, no, I apologize for all this. I mean, we literally had it all set up right before he came. I have no idea how it failed.
Yeah,
This is weird.
because it's technology, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just say,
But
I'm
at
fine
the end of the
with
day,
whatever you need to do.
little trick.
I mean, I would say, you know, I'd make a recommendation if we can meet in person. I like this better. I mean, I prefer it better, and I guess
Yeah.
everyone else
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And as long as everyone's comfortable with it, let's do that. But if, you know, City Hall policy starts to change, I guess, you know, I'll make it regular.
All
Yeah,
right,
as
we'll
long
see
as,
where we're at in a month's time.
Yeah.
yeah, as long as we just know.
Yeah.
Today I was
Yeah.
a little confused, but.
So-
No, I
Does
think
that
it's- make sure you change the, that is a little confusing on the agenda.
It said virtual
Put
and
hybrid
Zoom on
virtual
the
or
agenda,
just
it has like no
virtual?
number.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Anything else under F then? If
Uh,
not,
Just a random comment,
Yep.
it looked like the city elders put through our recommendation for the lights to change the law.
Resolution.
That's good,
It's very good.
I'm taking that as a baby win.
11-0. There must have been one alder not there, but I heard the vote was 11-0.
Yes, there was one not present.
Yeah,
There's only a couple mean people on social media about it.
all right. There was some, I saw some.
Yeah, I saw a couple comments.
No, there's a newer, I don't know if it's like an online newspaper thing. I just noticed it. I forget what it was even called. First time I've ever seen it. It was like the main article, and they have a picture of interim chief Runge. You know, of course they got to pick like a kind of angry picture of him, and he was like, he had really nothing to do with it other than, you know, he's interim police chief. He's the guy that they put the picture of, and then they talk about it. I mean, to me, it was pretty fair. The article was, but you know, they're just saying that, you know, there's some people that are not for it.
Because they don't want to get caught.
Right.
Well, there was a misconception out there, I think, that this meant that we are going, like, all right, we're going forward, we're gonna start buying equipment and everything. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, we're going to we're drafting a resolution to the state of Wisconsin, to Madison, to the lawmakers, to repeal this photo ban. It's no different than what I almost call them the state of Milwaukee, they kind of are. City of Milwaukee tried to do. They actually had a bill. It failed. I don't know why it failed, but I think this is our attempt at a Class B city to say, hey, don't forget us guys. And I can tell you, just my personal experience last Wednesday, I went down to State Fair, and we took an alternate route. The interstate was too congested, especially by the Marquette, and we ended up taking some other routes. I can't believe, I mean, we think we have it bad. I couldn't believe the people speeding on their 4-lane divided roadways like bats out of hell, running red lights. It was just insane.
Well, they also removed all of
Insane.
the like need for driver's ed and everything in Milwaukee too, though. So they have a lot of issues.
Yeah, and then over this weekend, 2 people died because they were victims of drag racing. Not the ones driving. Like, they were going down, they went through a red light, innocent people at the corner got a green light.
Oh,
Boom.
Lord, really?
Yep. I'm telling you, this photo enforcement is a real deal. I really think this is gonna, if anything, it's gonna have a deterrent effect on people. If they at least know that there's cameras out there, they're gonna think twice, I think, about speeding. But
I think in the city of Milwaukee, don't, correct me, I might be wrong, but they have police cannot chase vehicles if they see something wrong. I think there's
I
something,
have a couple weird rules.
a couple rules where they do not.
they can't engage.
They can't engage in
Yeah.
any type of, I don't want to say high-speed chase, or,
It's more common than you
Yeah.
think with law enforcement
yeah,
nowadays.
where they,
Yeah.
you know, their hands are kind of tied in a way, I think, that,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Right.
Well, this would get around that personal safety issue for the officers. It's gonna be on camera, not the officer.
Right. Yeah, I would see the police department being in support of this, because it kind of, they're a step removed then.
Well, and they don't have enough traffic
It's just,
enforcement people anyway.
I don't know.
Pretty accurate, Dave, I mean, you're up to speed on these traffic cameras. I mean, you hear, you know, people feel they should have got a ticket and get one. or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
there's never going to be a perfect technology. Are there going to be people that are going to, you know, try, you know, that are falsely accused or whatever? I don't think it's really going to be that. You know, I think that the resolution of these cameras are pretty good, but it's no different than these parking citations. It's always the person who that vehicle's registered to that gets the citation. You know, that plate goes back to a registration, and then that gets sent out, and they're like, well, that was my kid driving. Well, it's your car. You know, you figure it out between them.
That happened to me. I sold one of my cars to my daughter-in-law in Texas, and she was speeding, and I got the ticket, and I looked at it and I said, well, that's not me. I didn't do this. So I sent it to her, and she paid it. But,
Right. It's no different than
it goes by the owner of the car.
like
you
if
say.
you're familiar with the iPass system, the Illinois Tollway,
Yeah.
you know, there's people that have gotten citations, and they have the way that they work. It's either got an iPass or you have 14-day grace period. So if you go through that, I mean, it's all cashless now. You drive through the city of Chicago, just drive through, go onto their website, log in, create an account, and then you have 14 days. It's a grace period. You just give them your license, and they'll be like, "Yep, that person went through it. You're
Or
good."
if you have my plate number, it doesn't read it. You can't search for it, and then 2 months later, you get a bill from Illinois, time to pay.
Right. But you know, there's no perfect system, but we need some other tools. We're going in the wrong direction. We're doing what we can, and we just need more tools in the toolbox. And honestly, I think these 2 items, whether it be red light running cameras or speed enforcement cameras, use the technology.
Yeah, good. I move we adjourn.
All right, yeah, let's, got through F, public, or nothing on public hearing, so let's move to GH, adjournment. I will entertain a motion to,
So what informational was just informational motion, and then, so I guess you're moving to adjourn.
motion been made to adjourn.
Anybody not want to
Second,
adjourn?
please.
Is there a second?
Definitely.
Now that you're here, you don't want to go, right?
The second and third over here.
All right,
All right.
motion made, second, we are adjourned. Thank you all for
Okay.
making
Thank
a
you.
special effort to come down and
What year you graduated?
pay attention for
Thank
next
you.
month to see
I was
where we go.
class of
We'll see you next month.
Yeah, good luck.
95.
Okay, so tell me about stock.